So, unfortunately, I missed most of the Married at First Sight Australia, but I got to see the commitment ceremonies. Now, these ceremonies is held at the end of the show, usually, and the couple gets to write down stay or leave. Now, if they both write down leave, of course the couple's gone. If one writes down stay and one writes down leave, they have 1 week to make things right, or the next week they have to do what the other one wishes. So, Josh and Kathy. I gotta say, from the little tidbit that I got to see of the dinner party, I was thinking Josh and Kathy were fine. They seemed to be on target where they felt with Stacy and Michael. They couldn't get over Stacy forgiving Michael for cheating. She says he's not clearly off the hook. He's still got to prove himself. They've just trying to work through their issues. And for that, I do give them credit. Anyway, Josh and Kathy. Josh says it's been a good week, but he feels like they'll always just be friends. Kathy says, I walked in quite confident today. It just feels weird. Kathy feels blindsided. Kathy wants to be positive, so she wrote stay. Josh wrote stay. He's hopeful, but yet he wants to see where the romance goes. I still say this romance, now, some of you are going to let me have it, I'm sure. They're going to say, be more positive, Donna, because some of you are so good at wanting me to be positive. But I'm going to say Josh and Kathy are not going to make it. Now, Stacy and Michael. This one always brings back memories for me because of my ex named Michael. But anyway, Mike, this was a hard week, he says, to acknowledge what he did and move forward. It was his birthday, and he didn't have one drink. Bravo, you deserve a bozo button. He was instead bed watching Ocean's 11 with Stacy. And that was the best birthday ever, he says. Notice how I keep saying he says. We'll come back to that. Stacy feels about Michael that she loves him, and she never told him that before this ceremony. Mike admits that he loves Stacy, and he's never said that before the ceremony either. It's like we're all waiting for TV ratings. Big turnaround, wants to introduce kids to each other. Mike wrote a poem when he wrote stay. Stacy just wrote stay. At first, this was one of my favorite couples until he cheated with Haley. Now, it brought back bad memories when he cheated, because around this time, there's little things in life that you can never forget, I think one of the things that I'll never forget is hearing, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. And Stacy, I got some news for you. I knew about my Michael cheating at that time, but we tried to make a go of it. And that was one reason we renewed our vows, not only because it was around our anniversary time, it was because I wanted to make sure that he was really wanting to be committed. So I'm going to urge you to be going in with caution, especially with your heart. And it's easy to say that you're in love, but saying it and actions speak louder than words. There's some things that those moments of heartbreak, betrayal, it's just wow, being lied to and hearing some things like you have heard and you have witnessed. I don't know. I just don't see any hope in your relationship. I'm sorry, but you are another one that I think is doomed to fail. Yvonne and Alex. Yvonne is not comfortable Yvonne says he's comfortable on the topic of intimacy with Alex. Alex and Yvonne don't feel comfortable discussing it with the experts. They say it's not friends at first sight, the experts say. It's married at first sight. Yvonne says, yeah, but we're not an adult film. So they just decided to skip the whole argument series, and they just both wrote stay. They're pretty solid. So honestly, I do see that couple working it all the way through. So they might be the breadwinners, so to speak. Sebastian and Lizzie, they're the newlyweds, one of the newlywed couples this week. Liz says Sebastian wants to be here and be supportive, and it's very comfortable. Seb agrees with what Liz says. Seb says that he feels physically blown away, natural to be around each other. And of course, Seb wrote stay, Liz wrote stay. Seb leaned in and kissed her shoulder. Ah, the honeymoon phase. Honestly, I do not see this couple working either. Because when the new wears off, it's going to wear through. Just saying. Connie and Johnny. Now, this was one of my favorite couples. And I got to tell you, I'm really pulling for these two still. Connie felt that she herself did a complete 180 this week, and she improved. She did her homework. Johnny, however, is upset and has lost trust in the relationship. Johnny says this week has been hard, and he wrote leave. Now, Connie wrote stay. Connie let Johnny, the experts tell Connie, let Johnny be Johnny. And Jonathan, don't overthink every detail. See what happens. I'm pulling for this couple because they complement each other. I think that they make the perfect couple. She's the one that was the homebody. He was the one that was more driven, if you will. And I think that they're perfect for one another. So, Connie and Johnny, yes, I'm pulling for you. Casey and Drew. Eye roll time. Casey brings up a stuffed toy that his roommate, who's a female, gave to Drew during the commitment ceremony. This is, they bring up the good and the bad and the ugly. And of course, Casey's not being comfortable with Drew calling her super jealous, says there's red flags. Casey was upset by Drew's words. Drew says the housemate was nothing. It didn't mean anything. And it wasn't to hurt or upset Casey. Stacy and Mike snicker about the doll, and the experts kind of tell them knock it off. Casey wrote stay, Drew wrote stay, Drew kissed Stacy, and the experts wish them a great week. The one that brought the most tears to my eyes, because I love this couple. I like Connie and Johnny, but I love Steve and Michelle. Steve, for the past 6 weeks, has told the TV cameras, and Michelle feels, he's told everybody in Australia, that he doesn't find her attractive. So she's upset about him sharing the feelings with a camera and not his wife. He didn't want to hurt her feelings, wanted to see if the feelings would grow. He just didn't feel like sharing those feelings with Michelle until he was confident that they had grown. Steve's intention was to protect Michelle. Michelle just calls it deceit and betrayal because of hurt and lies that she's had before in previous relationships. The experts kind of call her on it. Steve says, I adore this woman. Talks about Michelle getting over the fear of the boats and the water and how he'll always hold that on high esteem. And he wrote leave, which broke my heart. Michelle says she wanted to be friends, not to be mad or angry. And Michelle says she talks to her daughter, Ava. And it was so cute because she said she's the level-headed one, and Steve agreed with that. And she said to her mom, break your pattern. You're there to an experiment, to learn. So Michelle wrote, stay. They have 1 week to turn it around. And when they went to go sit down, she says, do you hate me? And he just kind of looks at her like, what? And he says, no. And I really hope they work it out. I just adore you two. Anyway, we're going to do the book review, and I'm calling it a night. That means I'm going to brush teeth, get my laundry done, and go to bed tonight. No workout. I'm hoping that Friday, when Friday hits, I will have time to relax, let my own hair down, and work out. But even my grandfather today told me that I was being highly emotional, and I needed rest. So I guess, I got to follow the advice, right? So how about some book review time next? Then I'll go do the laundry. And then I'm going to brush teeth and go to bed. And not pass go. Oh. Stay tuned.